Hello, everyone. This is the show, Making a Difference, and I'm your host, Jon Heymann. And today I'm thrilled to have a psychiatrist, which we'll talk about in a second, Dr. Raj from Enhance Psych. So, Dr. Raj, great to have you on the show. Tell me the difference, because you're a psychiatrist, tell me the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist.
All right. Thank you, John, for having me first. It's an honor. All right. So psychiatrists, so we went to medical school, and so we can write prescriptions and do therapy. And versus psychologists, they go get a PhD, graduate school, and they do psychotherapy, but they can write prescriptions and manage patients like medical conditions.
Yeah. So you in reading about you, because I've read about you, you talk about the medical model, the medical approach to people's mental health, and the psychotherapy approach, and you meld the two together. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's what we do different here at Enhance Psych. We are trying to get the best in biological, medication, psychological, and social factors, and see the patients, our patients and families 360 degrees, holistically and comprehensively, and provide the best cutting edge treatment in terms of therapy and medication.
So do you see severe folks like that are in severe anxiety, depression, even delusions? Do you see people that are that severe?
Yes, we see all comers, from like those that are severe mental illness with psychosis, bipolar disorder, and prevent them from going inpatient or right out of inpatient, where they're in the mental hospital, so to speak, all the way to the executive or the athlete that's crushing it, but they just want to get to the 99 to the 100th percentile, as close to the 100th percentile.
Of being
so the entire
really healthy
gamut,
mentally.
whatever's tailored to the patients and families of all ages, their goals and what they most need with the right types of therapies and in terms of medication and psychotherapy.
Okay, very cool. Ketamine, medical marijuana. Tell us about that.
Okay. So since I work with child and adolescent population as a child psychiatrist too, I decided not to do medical marijuana. There are other doctors that do that, and I'll refer them often if they're interested after that discussion on the risk-benefit for that for adults. I got into ketamine-assisted psychotherapy and created a unique process. There's not a lot of people in this space, definitely not psychiatrists, and I'm actually going to a conference this week for ketamine practitioners, and look forward to that, going tomorrow to Austin, of all places, for the weekend. And it's an emerging treatment to basically get the twice as effective results as antidepressants for depression, anxiety, PTSD. And the magic of it for us is the therapy itself, like making therapy far better. And the medication allows this feeling of community and love, and that's what it's all about, and allows people to have more of an evocative experience where they can kind of really go there through the tunnel instead of around it, because most people are so well defended against their traumas, and this allows us to really talk about it and get more gain than 1 or 2 sessions, and it's happened countless times for my patients than in over years of therapy. Some of them had like decade of therapy since they were a child. They never were able to quite get there, but the ketamine, the psychedelic, allows them to talk about the things that are so hard to talk about. And really, so rather than just suppressing the symptoms, we can really get to the cause of the mental health. And so it's really more maximizing, optimizing mental fitness through ideal therapy, through this emerging treatment, and building a network of therapists for this to provide the best possible care.
I wrote a book called Agonizing Peace, and when I was interviewed from Alaska to Crete, the question I got most on these interviews, whether they were TV or radio, was about depression. And it seems depression and anxiety, I don't know if they hold hands, but most of the questions were about, I'm severely depressed, what can I do, things like that. How do you address that?
Yeah, so with depression, anxiety, definitely go hand in hand biologically, but even not feeling enough or feeling empty, feeling shame, right? They often go together, and PTSD kind of puts them together as well, and there's just so much trauma in the world. So we want to kind of look at like all the factors, as I said. Biologically, there's a room for looking at like the medical health, doing labs, the medical, often like primary medical doctors or other specialists, we're kind of de facto doing that work too, because a lot of patients just want to come to one provider. So I'm kind of like doing the labs and the medical workup. There's often medical causes of depression. Then you got like going back to see what are the causes in their life. Everyone's got trauma or conditioning from childhood, set points from their parents and caregivers, all the way to like different experiences that are tough that can contribute, right? And just the way we are wired as humans to never be totally satisfied and content. Most of us,
That's an
it's
interesting
never
point.
enough, so it's almost like a part of our nature. And really, so what we try to do is not just have short medication management sessions like most clinics, but rather like take long periods of time and kind of go through everything. Like, let's go through the medical, let's go through the background, let's go through your social factors. Are you having enough connection? And then proposing all the possible recommendations and really trying to optimize.
Combination of nature versus nurture.
Yeah, it's always
and
both.
you take the time because people are not treated like a number.
Correct.
You.
Yeah. I mean, that was just so dissatisfying to me. To just really I feel like you can't just focus on the medication. Like you're just leaving all this on the table, and people then are never really getting to the root and cause of what's causing their depression, anxiety. And that's where like the satisfaction, contentment is really like to process that and learn from it, so you have the most fulfilling life, not just suppressing your symptoms only.
Family therapy, family history, heredity.
100%.
You've got the medical side of it and you've got the therapy side of it, and you mix the two together, correct?
Totally.
Do you also do, last but not least, do you also do work with those that have been addicted to drugs or still are in their addiction?
Absolutely, yeah. Addiction has just been a growing problem over the past several years, especially since COVID, just like depression, anxiety, and all the other mental health conditions, and you can't separate the two. And they're often comorbid because people are often self-medicating. I would offer like most people in the world are self-medicating to some degree more than they are getting treatment for depression, anxiety too. So we take a different tact for the addiction, like, in terms of being careful of what medications to use. Like, I might be more careful with psychedelics for people who had addictions to opioids compared to like people who had occasionally binge drinking. Like it'll help reduce addiction but it may be kind of not the best for this case. So that's where that's actually the basis of our company, that we're created Enhanced Psych Network, which was to make sure it's safe and make sure that the ketamine-assisted therapy and the psychedelic-assisted therapy to come with different psychedelics is going to be done in the best way with the right people.
Dr. Raj, you can tell we could talk about this all day. My producers won't let me, but we could talk about this all day.
Absolutely.
Dr. Raj,
We'll
he's an expert in this field, and I hope you do come back. But ladies and gentlemen, please take a look at his website. The company is called Enhance Psych, and Dr. Raj has been kind enough to be with us now twice. That's how much we love him. You all have a blessed day, and we'll see you soon.